She said, hey, yes, your business, of course your business is doing X, Y, Z. What are you doing for you? She even said, now I just remember this just now, what's your Ironman? What's your next Ironman? And I was like, oh, wow, yeah. I didn't have a context for what a lot of people grow up with in the context of seeing a loving relationship.
Right.
Or understanding even like what kind of attention I should get. I was used to not getting any.
Hey there, superstar. I'm here with Leeann Marie Webster, my friend, my colleague, my client, and we're talking about creating a new version of yourself. Basically, evolution, transformation, how to step into the next version and the next version and the next version. We just got done talking about the Ironman story, and I'm curious, what are you up to now? What's that new Ironman goal that you've set for yourself? What is it? And then I want to take a steps back and find out like why.
Got it. So the what is, I am creating a one-woman show.
Yeah, a one-woman show. Okay.
It's called Fancy Meeting Me Here. For those who don't know, not everyone knows what a one-woman show is.
Okay, tell us what it is.
It's kind of like a mix. I like to say if like Tony Robbins and Tina Fey did a show together. So it's
that's your one-woman show. That's not mine. What everybody says.
Thank you.
Got it.
Point.
Okay.
Very good point.
Hers is going to be special.
A one-woman show. It's usually 60 or 90 minutes.
Okay.
It's in a theater. So it's kind of like a play in some ways, but it's usually autobiographical and it's
one person.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've decided you're doing a one-woman show.
Yeah.
Back it up.
Wow.
Where did this come from? Why?
Why?
Who would even do such a thing?
Who would even do such a thing?
Inside joke. You got to watch the other videos if you want to know what I'm talking about.
It actually got, the very seed of it was prompted by a conversation I had with one of the coaches on your team.
Okay.
That, who we work with, Monica.
Oh.
And she said, hey, yes, your business, of course your business is doing X, Y, Z. What are you doing for you? She even said, now I just remember this just now, what's your Ironman? What's your next Ironman? And I was like, oh, wow, yeah, because I wasn't doing, my business serves a lot of needs in my life and I was certainly having fun in my life, but there wasn't this like kind of bigger thing that I was
Well, and at one point you're like, maybe I'll do another Ironman. So maybe that kind of took that spotlight for a bit or two.
Yeah, and it's like, you can't get lightning twice, like in the bottom, right? Like, well, that was a really amazing experience.
It was.
I don't know if I can or if I even want to
top that or
try or have that in my head. Like,
good
do
point.
Something different.
Maybe that's what you were doing. You too. You might have been a little bit like, I don't want to get too close to a dream. That's a lot.
You just simmer down.
Do you think maybe there's a part of you that was like, let's breathe?
There also was a pandemic.
That's right.
So, there's a lot of things happening.
Okay. So for a little while after Ironman, you didn't have your thing.
Yeah.
You were having a conversation with Monica Reyes, by the way, who's amazing.
And so part of that conversation led to, when was the last time that I did something that just like, God, I just had so much fun doing that I could do it forever, or I felt really alive.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about things like that, and I came back to, and you were actually there for this too. Michelle's been in a lot of my stuff.
You're welcome.
We're each other's number one fans, right?
We are.
When I did that set at that variety show in December 2019. In Denver.
Yes, winter, December, the retreat.
Yes, and it was comedic storytelling.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't a stand-up routine. I know I don't want to be a stand-up comedian. And so it was like storytelling.
Yes.
And I had so much fun.
You were so good.
Loved it.
Yes.
Like I just felt so like alive. I had fun. It was scary. It was a different way to show up. And it was like, I loved it.
Yes.
So I was like, how do I do more of that? And then all of a sudden one day I woke up and I was like, I'll just do a one-woman show.
Wow, it really just like that. Okay. All right.
So I've been keeping journals since I was 10. I've been reading through the journals to prep for the show. And I can see the seeds now a little earlier. I just didn't know what they were.
Right.
So I can see I had a project for a little bit.
So now in retrospect,
Yes.
you can jump back and say, oh, that and that. That was all the dots connecting.
I thought about that. There's been a feeling within me for years that I have a story to tell.
Yes.
And for a while, remember I did the Leeann's 50th year project?
Yes.
I was like going to kind of video look back at my life kind of 1 year at a time. And I did that for a little bit, and it kind of lost a little steam. And so, but I feel like those were like the seeds to, you know, to this. It's like the yearning and the tugging, and then also this kind of desire to share my stories and my you know, I want to say my life, but my evolution.
The seeds that started all the way back when you were 10 years old, you were writing journals.
Yeah.
Back then. So you've been introspective to some degree since you were 10 years old, and you have a record of it.
Yeah.
So how did that kind of fit into this one woman show? Is that part of what you're drawing from?
Yeah. I mean, it's given me, there's such a snapshot, you know, in those journals of who I was and what I was dreaming about and you know, what I was upset about. And it, you know, it's such a cool thing to be able to pick up and see patterns and see like, oh wow, you know, that version of me didn't have a lot of confidence, or that version of me really had a lot of confidence.
Did you see patterns of like goal achievement, or like, you know, setting a goal and then, you know, completing it? Or is that some pattern that you've seen, or what are some of the themes you see as you're developing your one woman show?
Yeah, well, I really kind of think about it in three segments, right? Okay. So early in life, I had a traumatic experience with my, you know, my brother passed and was killed when I was 4, he was 12. Okay. And when that happened, it caused everyone to go on their own and like sort their stuff out, like, which makes a lot of sense.
Totally.
I mean, it's, you know, everyone kind of, it was 1970s.
You're talking about your parents.
Yeah, right? My parents and my other brothers. Okay. You know, it was 1973. Like,
you didn't talk about this stuff. There wasn't like
no counseling,
support for you or for your family.
So it was like everyone went internal, including me as a 4-year-old. My main message from that was, I'm on my own.
Got it.
And I need to figure this out.
Because everybody kind of went away from you. It felt like at 4 years old.
It felt like at 4, yes. And in I get it. Like, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have it. It makes sense.
No, you did and you've also done a lot of the work. You're right. There's not resentment there, or blame or shame or anything. There's just like, here's what happened, and this was what happened.
And here's what that 4-year-old self
created from it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's that kind of like piece. And then from there, I realized that I, you know, needed to create my own family. So I went external, right? Like, how do I, you know, friends become my family? You kind of poked
your heart out a little bit. It was like, well, I want to feel love. I want to feel, if it's not going to be these people, let me go find it.
Let me go find some other people. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I can see that actually in the journals. It's really interesting in like high school, especially, which is such a tender time anyway, and so full of self-discovery and all of that, that like, because in addition to that happening, my dad was an alcoholic, and my mom was bipolar, and my parents divorced when I was 3.
Got it. So your parents divorced, then your brother dies.
Then my brother dies, right. And so I didn't have a context for what a lot of people grow up with in a context of seeing a loving relationship.
Right.
Or understanding even like what kind of attention I should get. I was used to not getting any. And so I can see it in high school where like a guy would smile at me, and I'd be like,
world is
brand love. Like,
your poor little high school girl.
Or go on one date, and it's like, oh, well, clearly, like, you know, this is
he loves me
going
now.
somewhere. Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, there's just like one, like, this basket of French fries. Like, so I can see that. I can see me putting my heart out, and then, you know, going external to create. And then what I've realized over the last, you know, really, my personal development journey, I say, started 20 years ago, but it's been intense for the last 8 to 10. Mm-hmm. And that was me realizing it actually was internal. I needed to go internal and heal the relationship with myself.
That's right.
And from that,
build
all these
and create and all the
things.
Thank you, Leeann. And so if anyone wants to learn more about your no regrets formula, how to live a life with no regrets, how to take care of yourself with no regrets, how do they find out about you?
just go to noregretsformula.com.
That's
That
it.
simple.
Easy breezy. NoRegretsFormula.com. So you're doing a one-woman show. You're doing it to kind of share this story that you've experienced over your life. And you're sharing it in this format. It's just kind of creative, funny, meaningful, deep, on a stage. Now I want to dive into like, what does it look like to create a project like that? So you know the story you want to tell. You have an idea. I want to do a one-woman show. How do you go from that to actually having a show? Tell us the plan.
Okay.
What's the plan? That's what I meant. That's a quicker way to ask that question.